Guru Maharaj, Guru Jai Jai, Parananda Sadguru.
Guru Maharaj, Guru Jai Jai, Nityananda Sadguru. Guru Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, Guru Jai Jai, Parabrahma Sadguru. Guru Maharaj, Guru Jai Jai, Parabrahma Sadguru. Guru Maharaj, Guru Jai Jai, Parabrahma Sadguru. Jai Jai Nityananda Guru.
Parabrahma Sadguru, Jai Jai Nityananda Guru.
Parabrahma Sadguru, Jai Jai Nityananda Guru.
Parabrahma Sadguru, Jai Jai Nityananda
Guru Maharaj, Guru Jai Jai Nityananda Sadguru.
Guru Maharaj, Guru Jai Jai Nityananda
Guru Maharaj, Guru Jai Jai Nityananda Sadguru.
Guru Maharaj, Guru Jai Jai
Guru Maharaj, Guru Jai Jai, Parabrahma Sadguru.
Guru Maharaj, Guru Jai Jai
Guru Maharaj, Guru Jai Jai, Parabrahma Sadguru.
Guru Maharaj, Guru Jai Jai
Parabrahma Sadguru, Jai Jai Nityananda Guru.
Parabrahma Sadguru, Jai Jai Nityananda
Parabrahma Sadguru, Jai Jai Nityananda Guru.
Parabrahma Sadguru, Jai Jai Nityananda
Guru Maharaj, Guru Jai Jai Nityananda Sadguru.
Guru Maharaj, Guru Jai Jai
Guru Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, Guru
Guru Maharaj, Guru
Sadguru Jai Jai Nityananda Guru
Muktanandaya Gurave Shishya Samsarahavine Bhakta Kavye Kadehaya Namaste Chitsadatmane Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sachidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sat Gurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. With great love and respect, a heartfelt welcome to everyone on this Sunday morning here at Shanti Mandir. It is a full moon today. Of course, we can't see it. It's daytime, it's cloudy. And somewhere in the world is a lunar eclipse. Can't be seen here on this part of the world, but it's supposed to be now about 11:28 to 5 p.m. These are phenomena that occur in nature, and a very small percentage of the human race observes and becomes aware of all of these planetary movements and its effects upon us. This chant we just sang here was something 44 years ago and a month, which will be the 8th of August 1961 in Ganeshpuri, when Bhagavan Nityananda was preparing to leave his human form. It is said that he sent a message to Bhaskar Hegde, who was chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Nityanandaya, that he should sing this chant, Guru Maharaj, Guru Jai Jai, Parabrahma Sadguru, which some people say Bhagavan was indicating that I am now ready to leave this form and become Parabrahma, or the Absolute, or the Supreme Absolute. That Nityananda, who was in that human form, was now going to merge into Nityananda, into the Parabrahman. So of course here at Shanti Mandir Walden, I think we've chanted it the first time. Probably some people wondered what happened, but we sang it in Magod a month ago on the 8th of August. We've sung it there before. They sing it regularly at Ganeshpuri, especially on this day, on the 8th of August, when Bhagavan Nityananda left his body. So we can just imagine for a moment, way back in 1961, a few thousand people who arrived there due to some internal message that they received or that they felt to be in Ganeshpuri on that particular morning. However the messages came, it came in many different ways to many different people. My mother shared a couple of times that my father received the message and he decided to go, and he told her, "You stay back, I'm going." And didn't take her. Of course, she was upset. But now, as I think she had a 6-month-old baby, Rani, so she couldn't have gone anyway. And of course, in the midst of so many people, you see a picture of Bhagwan's body being taken to where it's buried now, and all of the people that were there. We experienced the same thing when Baba Muktananda took Samadhi. We had probably around 5,000 people, at least that we know of, that came on that day, which is the 3rd of October, the 4th of October, the 5th of October, for 3 days, just to pay their respects. In the Indian tradition, it is believed that even if he never went when the person was living, no matter who he or she was, at least go when they passed. Especially if you have familial issues, that's a good day to show up and hopefully resolve whatever issues there are. One might think a strange day or strange time to go, but it's a day when you are most sensitive because the person you loved, the person you cared for is no longer physically present, and many things can be figured out from there. So Devyani asked me this morning, what is the verse from the Saundarya Lahari? So first I said to her a verse, and then she said yes. It's a text we've been studying here since the beginning of January. And I chose verse number 38. It talks about the Anahata Chakra, the chakra of the heart.
Sumanmilat samvid kamalamakaranday karasikam bhajehan sadvandvam kimapi mahatam manasacharam yadalapat ashta dashagunita vidya parinatihi yada datte doshat gunamakhilam adhyapayaiva.
The first line is one whole word. It talks about a fully blossomed lotus known as knowledge. And here there's a reference to a pair of hansa or swans, who are, we could say, chanting the mantra of Hamsa, and who are swimming in the great lake known as the mind. And in this conversation, there is the emergence of the 18 types of knowledge, which is discussed by different sages. And what happens is that the impurity is removed and all types of wonderful qualities appear. Bhavamuktananda often talked about a swan has the ability, here it says adbhya paya iva, to, when you mix milk and water, the swan is able to take out milk from the water. The sages have always said that a human being has the ability to discern, to discriminate, to have viveka, and know what is real and what is unreal. So the sage here is basically saying, I worship the pair of swans who solely delight in the absolute knowledge. Like a fully blossomed lotus flower in the great lake known as the mind. From the conversation between these two swans, 18 forms of knowledge have originated, which are capable of differentiating purities from impurities, like swans separating milk from chakra. So Swami Vishnu Tirth and other sages say that this verse refers or speaks about the Anahata Chakra, known as the heart chakra. it is said that one meditates on this heart chakra for the fulfillment of one's desire within oneself. It is the wish-fulfilling tree, and the yogin meditates upon this chakra, experiencing the nectar that comes from the Sahasrara. So, of course, next year we're going to study the Lalita Sahasranama, which has references here in Saundarya Lahari. And we could say that the two swans talked about could be Shiva and Shakti, because Saundarya Lahari is about Shiva and Shakti. And these two swans swim in the mind of the aspirant, this Shiva and Shakti. And so when one meditates upon the heart, one can meditate upon Shiva and Shakti. And then when one becomes immersed in the Agnya chakra, then the upper two chakras, which is the Vishuddha and the Agnya, get fully activated. So, as we meditate here, we meditate upon the Hamsa mantra, Ham on the in-breath, Sa on the out-breath. And Vijnana Bhairava is clear that Hamsa and Soham both are the same mantra, and when Ham goes in, Sa comes out, So goes in, Ham comes out. And this all happens as one does the mantra for a long period of time. A long period of time is discussed even in the Yoga Sutras, Satu Dirgha Kala Abhyasa. Question I often ask is, what is long time? Not just in this lifetime, it could be lifetimes that we are discussing here, because when we begin to imagine that we have a 24-hour period or a day, and in that 24-hour period, how little is the time that we dedicate or commit to sadhana, because we are occupied in the activities of life. And that when we think about a sage who sits in meditation, or these great yogis that the scriptures talk about, the mind is constantly immersed in the understanding, in the knowledge of Shiva and Shakti, and upon the mantra. And so they're constantly swimming in that ocean of consciousness. Many think today that when we sit to meditate, meditation is just sitting. But when we begin to understand that here, whether it's Saundarya Lahari, whether it's the various different scriptures that talk about meditation, we realize that to get to that place of simply sitting, a lot of what we could call homework is done to get to that place, where the mind is quiet, where the mind is still. So, imagine, again, when we go back to this chant, that Bhagavan is aware that I will be leaving the body, that I'll be leaving this form. And therefore, not only has that consciousness sent the message around so that everybody is able to gather in that space, people are in that space. Baba Muktananda talks about how Bhagavan called him the night before and spoke to him and said things to him. And Baba said, I realized that he's going to leave the form the next day. So, a yogi connected to that consciousness, and we can only imagine, or from glimpses of our experience, have an understanding of what here Adi Shankara is talking about, and that the experience of that Ananda is the turning point of one's sadhana or one's life. And Shakti is always experienced in the form of Ananda. Shakti is realized when one begins to experience Ananda. And so when we begin to think and realize what is Ananda? Ananda is independent, and the sages tell us when one actually begins to experience Ananda, from there is no return to ignorance. There is no return to anything else, because one is now established or establishing oneself in the experience of the Shakti, in the experience of the Ananda. And here one begins to become aware of what is good and what is not good, what one should do, what one should not do. Such a person then does not indulge in mean thoughts and actions. Such a person does not indulge in mean thoughts or actions, because they are now experiencing the Shakti, and the Shakti brings about an Ananda, the experience of bliss, the experience of joy. Over the week, as I thought about, we'll get to that in a moment, qualities a seeker could awaken within himself. When they say here a person does not indulge in mean thoughts or actions, what is it that I can do, one can do to bring oneself to that place? Because we want that Parashakti, or the energy within us, manifests as bliss. When that manifests as bliss, the realization of Shiva takes place, which the sage calls the Para Prasada mantra, the great prasad, the great mantra, Hamsa. And here the comparison is drawn to fully blossomed lotus flower. So the flower that is fully blossomed, once it's blossomed, there's not much time that the flower survives. So either the flower has to be picked or it will decay. So if you remember a long time ago I shared, Narada talks about this, that a flower on a plant can either be plucked and placed at the feet of the Lord, or at the end of the day, the flower just decays on the plant and has actually not really served a purpose. Though we could say that a bee has been there and picked the nectar, and a flower has served a purpose in that way. But here, the blossoming of the flower is comparing that one acquires the knowledge of the Absolute, the knowledge of Brahman. And that human life is not wasted, because that person has lived his or her life and has understood what is the Absolute, understood what is Brahma, has become established in that space. Ricardo, who's here from LA, we talked, I think, a couple of days ago, we were talking about Baba Muktananda. And I said, if we just think of his two teachings, God dwells within you as you see God in each other. And I said, for those of us who lived in his presence or in his company, regardless of how and all of the details, yet each one of us lived in that conviction or had a direct experience of God dwells within you as you. Because Baba repeated it again and again and again, and reminded each individual in the satsang that this is the ultimate truth. See God in each other, God dwells within you as you. So when we think of what was the essence of what Baba Muktananda gave, for those of us who experienced it within ourselves, we cannot deny the experience, because it's one's own experience. It's not an experience that somebody's telling you you've had, but you know yourself, you felt it. You're not imagining it, you're not, because there were moments. I cannot say days and hours, but there were moments where you just felt that. And when you felt that, you understood what here the sage is saying, the experience of Ananda, the experience of bliss, the realization of Shiva. And therefore they say that there is no more seeking to be done after that, because one is sitting or established in the experience of the Absolute. Of course, doubts come in, questions come in, wonderings come in, and then just like things displace themselves from that experience, we displace ourselves. Because once again, the mind has gone back into the Maya of the world and then lost somewhere and then wants to return to that experience, to find that experience. And so we go hither and thither. We go places, we go looking, we go wondering. And all we have to do then simply is come to the experience that all I need to do is settle down. Settling down is also a big job. Not easy for the human mind because it's always looking, it's always seeking. So as the Upanishads tell us, what we need to do is rein in the mind, rein in the senses, to bring them inside ourselves, to realize and to experience that what I need to do is practice. So when Patanjali says, Satu Dirgha Kala Abhyasa, so for a long time, sit there, practice. And that practice is what brings you to absolute knowledge, which brings you to realization. So Vedanta brings this to us in the form of neti neti. This is not, or not this. And then we have to come to sit in the experience, then what is. Recently somebody shared a story with me that there's a person in Indian tradition would be Narada Muni, who visits the Lord. And as he travels the earth, one person says to him, can you go tell the Lord, I have enough. I don't need any more. I don't need anything else. And at the same time, he runs into somebody else who says, can you tell the Lord, he's only given me this one piece of cloth. Can you give something more? So the person, now the Muni arrives and he tells the Lord, this person says, he wants nothing more, he has enough, he has plenty. The Lord says, tell him to stop saying thank you. Tell him to stop offering gratitude, offering appreciation. And then it will stop. To the other person, tell him, start offering gratitude. Start offering appreciation. And then things will begin to flow into his life. So now that when he returns back to the earth, goes to the first person who has plenty, and he says, the Lord says, stop offering gratitude. The man says, how can I stop offering gratitude? My life is so full. My life is so complete. I'm so grateful for everything that I have. I can't stop offering gratitude. So you understand what that means? That the flow will not stop. He will not stop offering gratitude. The flow into his life will not stop. And he goes to the other person and he tells him, start offering gratitude. Start offering appreciation. The person says, for what? I have nothing. I have this one cloth. And for that I should offer him gratitude because he has not given me anything. So what should I offer him gratitude for? Now that tries to explain, you counsel such people. Because you try to tell them, look, you need to change your attitude, you need to see it a different way, you need to begin to understand that if you, blah, 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 then they're like, no way. They are stuck in their ignorance. They don't want to change the way, yet they don't stop complaining because they think nobody is offering. But the Lord is saying, simply begin to change the perception, to change the view. There's a shloka in the book of Atma Bodha. Aviroditaya karmana vidyam vinivartayet vidya avidya niyantyeva tejas tasmin sangavat. That action cannot destroy ignorance. Action cannot destroy ignorance because it does not oppose ignorance. Knowledge indeed destroys ignorance just as light destroys deep darkness. So basically, what here Adi Shankara is saying is that awaken the knowledge. And awaken the knowledge and get rid of that deep ignorance. Get rid of the stagnation where you have brought your life to. Let movement take place. Let movement take place. Think of this story. Begin to offer gratitude. Be grateful for whatever it is that happens in life. Wonderful. Or you can always do the opposite. And that is so easy for so many. And to sit there, the opportunity arises for each and every one of us. And how we utilize that opportunity depends upon us. So much that is in Saundarya Lahari, so much that is in all of this. Explaining this verse, the commentator says, just like experience comes and goes, but the nature that you have doesn't come and go. It's your nature, it stays with you. Sugarcane is sweet. Sugarcane is sweet. The sun is luminous. And we cannot change that. So Acharya Shankar here is urging us to live, we could say luminously, we could say sweetly. I often tell people, smile. And they go, for what? Seriously. And they look at me like, what do you want me to smile? And I often share that when you walk amongst clouds of people, smile. And people they'll think I'm crazy. It's okay. Either you have to think that they are crazy because they are not grateful, or they think you are crazy because you are feeling grateful. Think to yourself, ask yourself, what is the perception, what is the choice we want to place upon this world? Either I come from the heart, which is the Anahata Chakra that Saundarya Lahari talks about, where there is Ananda, where there is Ananda streaming from the Sahasrara, from the top of the head. I'm seated in that space and I'm sharing that. A few days ago we went to Adams and Madhu and I were at the coffee stand, we could say. And there was a big man with tattoos, got a double espresso. And I got a latte, Madhu got nothing. So Madhu looked at him and said, that's going to get you going. And the man said, yes, it's going to get me where I have to go. And Madhu later said, I thought for a moment when I looked at this man with a big tattoo and 2 shots of espresso, should I say something or should I just be quiet? Should I remain inhibited or should I just express something? And you can imagine, there he is with me, looking like this. A white American man with an orange person with beads and, paste on the head, or cream that's not merged into the head, whichever way you look at it. And here's this big man with tattoos, and just robust thinking of himself, whatever he thinks of himself, and to make a comment like that. And the man smiles and just replies because he thinks, oh, why not? Think of this. Is that moment that you take a decision. And of course, you don't get that kind of reaction, then just be quiet. Don't try to rub it in that I am coming from the space of the heart and I'm going to make sure that you get this. No, you just, that viveka or discernment of discrimination is also necessary and also important. But if you come from the place, it's possible. So when we begin to think of and talk to ourselves of good qualities, which when we start looking at the scriptures, we realize there's a long list. In the 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, there are 26 divine qualities. So we won't go there right now, but if we just begin to think that each and every one of us has 26 divine qualities, and 6 or 8 may be demoniacal. So look at the imbalance, if you want to call it that way, that there is more goodness in each and every one of us. And there's a few that are there, we could call it byproducts. And yet, a human attaches oneself more to the other side, more not to say gratitude for what I have in my life. For what? For this one piece of cloth. Now think to yourself, each day you wake up, now you say, well, I do that every day. Yes, every day you are grateful for the fact that you have woken up. Because I'm sure if we start to do statistics, we will find a fair amount of people, friends, family, who we say, I went in and they were gone. It's going to happen to you one day. Of course, we don't think of that manner. Divyani, as she celebrated her birthday, she got a frame with pictures. And she said, oh, as I get to 80, I'm going to lie here and look at that. All that which has happened in life. All that which has taken place over the last 40 plus years. By then it will be 60 plus years of life. In each one of our lives, I think we could have our own slideshow inside. You could rejoice and be grateful, be happy for the wonderful things that have happened. And for all the opposite or the other, you could think of the choices that could have been made by yourself in that moment that would have changed the situation. Because the sage tells us every moment is a choice. Every moment is a choice. What do I say? How do I react? How do I be? You can just smile. You can just be nice. You can be kind. You can be loving. I remember sometimes when we've gone around looking at property, especially in India, some people pick up and smell the earth. That's the ability they have. And to tell you if that place, that piece of property, that land would be good for you or not. Because that earth carries the energy. You chant, you meditate, you do fire ceremonies, you do japa. All of this goes into the earth. All of this goes into the land. I shared last week that way back, Mr. John Borden had the wish or desire to bring his friends from the city here for a retreat. It's finally taking place to the school of practical philosophy, to Shanti Mandir. So 100 and some years before he already had the vision, the thought that this was the land where retreats could take place. I don't think he used the word retreats, but a place where friends could come. And supposedly from all his travels, he found this to be the best place. And that works in our favor. Because we have, Shanti Mandir has chosen to be here on this land to invite and allow individuals to experience their own beauty, we could say. Now, for almost 9 to 10 years, we looked all around the area. But this was the land we walked upon, and it felt right. We didn't smell the earth. We didn't need to. Because as we drove in, as we looked, as we felt, and still today, some 25 years later now, we feel that this land is magical. So when we begin to think, Shanti Mandir Magod, I often tell all the children 3 things. One is be sajjan or noble. The other is be soumya. There's no direct English word, but it could be benign, good-natured. Good humor, and vinamra, humble. So be noble, be virtuous, be uncorrupted, be benign, be good-natured, be good-humored, be humble, courteous, friendly, useful, I would say. So you might think, I am all these things. But are you always all these things? That's the question. Are you always noble? Are you always good-humored? Are you always humble? Or does the ego kick in and change percentages, if you want to call it that way? And now you get skim milk, low-fat milk, 2% milk, whole milk, cream, heavy cream. I don't know if there's anything after that. Huh? Buttermilk would change the story. So if we think of ourselves in that way, I am today 2% noble. Or I am 2%, skim noble. Or I am 50-50. It's just amazing when you go to the dairy section of any grocery store and just think of what all has been done to that milk. What we humans have done to that exactly is what we have done to ourselves. And then we live a no-fat life, and we've become a no noble, no benign, no humble person. Because each one of us feels that I need to prove myself to the world. Because we realize that as we remain sweet, docile, friendly, and all of that, the world storms upon you. It does. But it doesn't mean, the sage tells us, it doesn't mean that you can't stand up for yourself and be strong. You try to find that strength that is within yourself and see that. The Bhagavad Gita says, begin to look at the thread that ties us all together. We are all pearls. We're all pearls, and there is a thread that ties us all together. The thread is consciousness. And that each one of us is connected to the other by that thread of consciousness. So when we talk about Saundarya Lahari and go to Shiva and Shakti, and begin to think that each one of us has that play of Shiva and Shakti going on. In music, we call it genre. What genre of music do I listen to? What kind of movie do I watch? What kind of effect does it have upon my mind when I read a particular book? And the sage is telling me to become shanta, peace, tranquil, harmonious. So all the chanting that we do, the effect of that chanting has to bring you to a place of tranquility. Navinji at his ashram in Kankal, they do about 6 hours of Vedic chanting. Study. So one day I was in my room about 3 weeks ago. It was probably around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and they repeated the same verse because he has a new batch that just started in July. So they repeated the same verse, the same verse, the same verse. And I thought to myself, just lying here, I'll learn and memorize this verse myself. He is outside with his students teaching them. I'm there listening. My mind is repeating. And as it repeats, unknown to itself, it will have memorized that verse. So when we begin to think again of what is it that I want to put into my land, in our modern day society, we don't think of this. We just think this is a place where I live, this is a place where I abide, this is a place that serves its purpose. We forget a very simple thing, gratitude. Gratitude to that 2,000, 3,000 square foot of space that allows you to dwell there. You just think it's my birthright, I paid for it, I pay the monthly bank money or whatever it is that is going on. And we simply look at it in that way. Think back to that story. I offer gratitude for all that which comes into my life. What should I offer gratitude for? I am the one who signed the documents. I am the one who's paying the bank. I am the one. Now imagine some shift, some change, something that happens. So, Devani reminded me the other day, I love sharing. Take butter in your hands, soft butter, and squeeze it. And how it comes out through your fingers. Can I be that soft? Can I be that gentle? Can I be that loving? No matter what happens in life, can I remain like that? When the Vice Chancellor in Shanti Mandir talked about a couple that lives, that is a part of their university, who is part of Shanti Mandir, Dr. Sudesh Sharma and his wife Bhagavati, he used the word Shaleen. He said, they are learned professors, they are educated people, they are who they are in our university. But what is liked about them is this quality of themselves, which we could, in English, it's modest or decent. But when you think of that word in Sanskrit, Shaleen, it's a attribute, it's a quality that not presuming something of oneself. And just being able to be who you are, the professor, the director, the whatever it is that you are in life, but yet the willingness to serve. And you cannot just take this one quality and think that one quality is it. It's all of many qualities that bring about a speciality that arises. And so all of this that I'm talking about is there in different measures in each one of us. Think of purity. Think of that you wake up each day, every day, the thoughts are pure. The feelings are pure. The emotions are pure. So much goes on. So when you think, why do I get up and I do the chant? Why do I get up and I do the mantra? Why do I get up and I do the study of the scripture? And you look at every single tradition, every place that I have been to over the years, there's some practice or the other that is done. Modern person who doesn't recognize or doesn't realize it say, I don't understand, so I'm not going to do it. I do not understand and therefore I will not do it. I hear this often over the years as I travel. Why should I do it? I don't know what I'm saying. So I tell them, well, when the doctor gives you a prescription, you don't know what you are taking. You have to trust the doctor. And very, twice, 2 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 3 in the evening, and 1 at night. And you're so good about it. You buy that little box that very nicely distributes it into the different places, into the different compartments. And you make sure you tell somebody to please make sure that I take this, because if I don't take this, I will lose it in whatever form it is. So imagine that the sage has given you these very prescriptions to do and practice in your life. Waking up, sunrise, through the day, midday, through the afternoon, evening, night. And Baba Muktananda would say, if the mantra is going on as you sleep, you wake up in the morning having done mantra and somewhere being in a state of meditation. So you're not just going to sleep and waking up in the morning, but you're going to sleep with the mantra. And then waking up with the mantra. So imagine what that does. You're thinking, right? The very first thing is you don't have nightmares. Because you are, whatever it is your mantra, that's what's going on. You'll find that sages talk about the true character of a person is found out at night. Who they really are, what they really are. Go and wake them up and you find out what is really going on. Because in the day we are very composed and very, very proper. The rouge is on, the lipstick is on, the makeup is on, all the perfect things are on. At night we take it all off before we go to bed. And I'm not just talking about the external, I'm sure you get that. I'm talking about even the internal. And so you go to sleep, we have taken off all your masks. And at 2 or 2:30 a.m., when the person is in deep sleep, the sage says, you will find out what is the real character of that human being. So we sing in the Shiva Manasa Puja that Nidra Samadhi Sti. How should my sleep be? My sleep should be Samadhi. So for that, You can't just say, okay, as I go to bed, I'm going to go, I'm not sure, I'm not sure, I'm not sure. I'm going to go into samadhi. Because all the other stuff in greater measure will take over. And where the mantra is lost. And so all of this, purity, decency, peaceful, humble, good-natured or good-humored, noble, virtuous, it's all like a breath of fresh air. You walk into a person, you walk into a place, you walk somewhere, you arrive somewhere, and some of these qualities resonate in that space. And you think, you feel, why? Ask yourself, why? It could be you. I'm not saying that you don't have this. You have it. It's just like when a shoe needs polishing because it's been in the mud. Silver needs polishing because it's tarnished. A spoon needs washing because you've just eaten from it, or it's been dipped in the soup or the vegetable. In the same way, we need a process of cleansing, a process of purification. And that's what this 38th verse of Sundarya tells us. Become a fully blossomed lotus, reveling in the experience of the absolute bliss, reveling in the absolute bliss, and that Shakti in your life is awakened, is pulsating. Now don't fake it, okay? Some people do that. I am living in Shakti all the time. I am in bliss all the time. And I want to go pinch them. Because I see this, it's just funny. Because then you see them going, then you say, what happened to the bliss? Well, this person irritated me. If that person irritated you, then were you really in bliss? Because if you are in bliss, then how can you be irritated? You are in bliss. You are swimming in the lake of consciousness. You don't even have to tell yourself that I'm swimming in the lake of consciousness. Because you are swimming in the lake of consciousness. You don't have to tell yourself or remind yourself I'm swimming in bliss because I am swimming in bliss. I'm saying all this, of course, over the years. Because there have been moments, there have been times when the mind goes, and then you go, no. You have to remember your name is Nityananda, so you must remain in bliss. And then you listen to a chant like this and you think to yourself, how can I go to that Brahman? How can I go to the experience of the Absolute? How can I just again and offer salutations? How can I allow my mind to remain grateful for all that which exists in life? For the fact that I woke up today and here I am. Or I could be like that other person, gratitude for what? And you'll find many like that as you go around. For what? Who has done what for me? Nobody does anything for me. Whatever I do it for myself. But realize in this whole society, each one of us supports each other. Some way, some form, somehow or the other, there's somebody doing something, playing some role. Could be a minuscule role, it could be I shared last week when talking about the self, Anorahanyan Mahato Mayan. Smaller than the smallest, greater than the greatest. Now, of course, here the Upanishad is talking about the self, but you could think about life. Smaller than the smallest situation in life, greater than the greatest, and everything else in between. Subtler than the subtlest. And all of this. And so all of this, when you become aware of it or realize it, then all of these qualities, humility brings along with it a gentleness, a softness. And all of this, I would say, brings with it that fragrance, the smell of the earth. There's a smell in your human being also. Not from a perfume that you've put on, not from some essential oil that you've put on, not from some lotion that you've put on. No, I'm talking about. And I share this because, again, we experienced this with Baba Muktananda. Wherever he went, there was a fragrance. Sometimes people smelled that fragrance even though he was physically not in that space, remembering that this fragrance is Muktananda, so that means that he's been here in this space. And I don't want to go too far out into that airy-fairy space because some people tend to do that. No. I'm very grounded, I'm very with it, and very in the earth. I make sure that I don't go looking in the clouds for something. I don't think you understand what I mean. But anyway, it doesn't matter because I know what I'm saying. Because I meet people sometimes. And I joke sometimes, say, did you see that? I think I did that last year too. And everybody turned to say, see what? There's nothing to see. But the imagination of the mind makes the imagination of others. So let us work upon all of this. Bring luminosity into your life. Bring sweetness into your life. Bring ananda, joy into your life. And take that with you. So as we understand this whole play of Shiva and Shakti, Baba has a whole talk somewhere, a couple of times at the end of the Third World Tour on sun and shadow. You have to listen to it very intently with headphones because he speaks quite fast and quite a lot of material that he gives, sun and shadow. The whole play according to the Kashmir of Shaivism. Because he loved that Nartako Atma, which is the self is an actor. And this world, Rangamancha, this world is a stage. The entire world is a stage upon which I am an actor. Wow. Think of that. There's so much power in every individual that this whole world is my stage upon which I am an actor. I can choose what role I want to play and how I want to affect life for myself and for everyone. So we'll stop at that now, and then Devyani will tell us what's coming up, because she's very excited. And of all of that she has created on her stage, and all of that which we will experience here in the ashram. She keeps telling us these are golden days, which means some of us just enjoying the quiet. Rukmini and them who came yesterday, and then Navinji is enjoying the quiet, enjoying the peace which in a matter of days will be like, oh my God, where'd you come from? Huh? The peace will be there when you go beyond the real truth. No, the peace will remain because this is Shanti Mandir. So that peace will remain with us. But there'll be a lot of peaceful people here. Peace-seeking people here, decent people here, loving people here, modest people here, joyous people here, all kinds of people that some of you may not have seen over the years, but have been associated with Shanti Mandir from its inception to all of the various years, and all of that which has taken place. We have Alva and Jean Browns. I don't know what name you go by now. One of the many incarnations here of the Brown family. When I thought about nice and loving and kind, I thought of her parents. Her mother would always say, you could always stop by, the kettle's on, the water's boiling. You could have tea and scones or cookies. Shortbread, that's right. Sorry, it's been a while. Shortbread, yes. And her father always said, because she would always bring the good ones here to the ashram and give him the broken ones. And as she got better at baking them, there were less broken ones. So he said he would break some so that he would get a little bit more back home that she would not bring to the ashram. So all of these various beings that have been part of Shanti Mandir, supporting, doing, and it was in her parents' trailer that Raghu and I lived here upon this land for the first 6 months in the year 2000. This land had nothing. We celebrated Guru Purnima here. So when Raghu was here, and he was the only wild person amongst us who had lived among the Aboriginals of Australia. And I thought, we need a presence upon this land. So I just said to him, do you want to live there? So he lived there, which is now the pavilion with a tent, set up a puja for himself. And the tree that is still standing there, witness to all of that which has happened here. And Nirguna, myself and I Raghu walked up the stream because all of this was overgrown with shrubs. And Raghu said, I know, I will tell you where. And so somehow this is the space that in the water at the bend that was chosen. Shrubs were cleared. We came, I think it was the month of August. Scratches at times from the rose bushes and all of that. And just to see here now, 25 years later, and to feel that presence, that consciousness, that divinity, and I think all who will come will just come to celebrate their association over the years and their participation in whatever they have done to create that which we see and feel and experience today. And that's why I say that we're never alone in life. So never think to yourself, never even allow that thought to come into your mind, I'm alone. All you have to do is step out and you'll find that there is someone, there is somebody, there is the other. That will give you that love. That will give you that which you want. Of course, if you isolate yourself and lock yourself up, then all you'll see is the darkness. But when you step out, you see the luminosity of the sun. You see the sweetness of every human being. And each one of us creates that exterior hard shell. Because some point or the other of our life, something has happened. And we want to show to the world, I am macho. But within that macho-ness is the Shakti, is that gentleness, is that decency, is that good-natured human being. And that is the experience we want to offer. So we'll end with Danya Danya. आगे लगे सब कुछ धन्य धन्य हो प्रदक्षिणा सद्गुरुरायाची झाली त्वरा सुरवरा विमान उतरायाची पदोपदी अपार झाल्या पुण्याच्या राशी पदोपदी अपार झाल्या पुण्याच्या राशी सर्व ही तीर्थे घडली आमा आदि करुणिकाशी धन्य धन्य हो प्रदक्षिणा सद्गुरुरायाची झाले त्वरा सुरवरा विमान उतरायाची संगटाल ढोल भक्त भावार्थे गाते मृदंग टाल ढोल भक्त भावार्थे गाते नाम संकीर्तन ब्रह्मानंदे नाचते प्रदक्षिणा सद्गुरुरायाची झाली त्वरा सुरवरा विमान उतरायाची कोटि ब्रह्मा हत्या हरिति कलिता दंडवत कोटि ब्रह्मा हत्या हरिति कलिता दंडवत लोटांगण गालिता मोक्ष लोले पाया धन्य धन्य हो प्रदक्षिणा गुरु भजनाचा महिमा न कले आगमा निगमासे गुरु भजनाचा महिमा न कले आगमा निगमासे अनुभवते जानते जे गुरुपदी जे रहिवासी धन्य धन्य झाले जरा सुरवरा विमान उतरायाची प्रदक्षिणा करुणी देहा भावे वाहिला प्रदक्षिणा करुणी देहा भावे वाहिला गंगात्मज विठ्ठल पुढे धन्य धन्य हो प्रदक्षिणा सद्गुरुरायाची झाले तळा सुरवराभिमान त्याची धन्य धन्य हो प्रदक्षिणा सद्गुरुरायाची झाली तळा सुरवराभिमान त्याची ज्योत से ज्योत जगाओ सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगाओ मेरा सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगाओ हे योगेश्वर हे ज्ञानेश्वर हे योगेश्वर हे ज्ञानेश्वर हे सर्वेश्वर हे परमेश्वर हे सर्वेश्वर हे परमेश्वर निज कृपा बरसा सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगाओ मेरा अंतर तुम्हें बनता सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत बालक तेरे द्वार पे आए हम बालक तेरे द्वार पे आए मंगल दरस आओ मेरा सद्गुरु ज्योत से शीश झुकाय करें तेरी आय शीश झुकाय करें तेरी आय प्रेम सुधा सद्गुरु ज्योत से युग युग से सोए अंतर में युग युग से सो चित्त शक्ति को जगा सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगाओ सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत साची ज्योत जगे हृदय में साची ज्योत जगे हृदय में तो हम सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगाओ मेरा अंतर तुम्हें बनता सद्गुरु ज्योत से जीवन मुक्तानंद अविनाशी जीवन मुक्तानंद शरणन शरणन गाऊ सद्गुरु ज्योत से ज्योत जगाओ त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव दुर्करो दुःखदर्द सब दया करो भगवान मन मंदिर में उज्ज्वल हो तेरा निर्मल ज्ञान जिस घर में हो आरती चरण कमल चितलाय ताहा हरि वासा करे ज्योत अनंत जगाए जहाँ भक्त कीर्तन करे बहे प्रेम दरिया ताहाँ हरि श्रवण करे सत्यलोक से आए सब कुछ दिया आपने भेंट करूं क्या ना नमस्कार की भेंट करूं जोड़ो मैं दोनों हाथ नमस्कार की भेंट करूं जोड़ो मैं दोनों हाथ ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति 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 सद्गुरुदेव श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम समिध्युवसे विषण्णग्ने विश्वा नव्या इलस्पदे समिध्यसे सनो वसुन्याभर संगच्छध्वं संवदध्वं संभो मनांसि जानतां देवा भागम्यता पूर्वे संजानाना उपासते समानो मन्त्रस्समिति समानि समानं मना सचित्तमेषां समानं मन्त्रमभिमन्त्र एव समानेन्नवो हविषा जुहोमि समानीव आकूते समाना हृदयानि वः समानमस्तु वो मनो यथा वस्तु सहसति हरिः ॐ द्यौ शान्तिरन्तरिक्षगुं शान्तिः पृथिवी शान्तिरापः शान्तिरोषधयः शान्तिः वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्विश्वे देवाः शान्तिर्ब्रह्म शान्तिः सर्वगुं शान्तिः शान्तिरेव शान्तिः सामा शान्तिरेधि यतो यतः समीहसे ततो नो अभयं कुरु शन्नः कुरु प्रजाभ्यो भयं नः पशुभ्यः ॐ शान्ति yukto yadi bhavati shakta prabhavitum nache devam devo na khalu kushala spanditum api atastvam aradha harihara bhivin chadi bhirapi pranantum stutum va kathamakutta punya prabhavati tavachaka kilana sutirambike sakalasha damayi khilate tanu nikila murti shubhe bhavadanvayo manasija subhahi prasara sucha iti vichintya shive shamita shive jagati jatamayatnavasadina Stuteja parchana chintana varjita nakaluka chanakala kalasti me nakaluka chanakala kalasti me nakaluka chanakala kalasti me Sadgurudev
So this concludes our Sunday morning satsang, and it's always joyous to see everyone here personally, and also all of you who are joining us via the live stream. So the joy and the honor of the upcoming celebrations, not just the 25th anniversary, but it's everything that's evolving here at Shanti Mandir. I just want to be clear that the space that it's coming from is the honoring of the land, the honoring of all of the individuals and people who have moved through this land in the last 25 years, and everybody who has contributed in all ways to making this place a refuge for everyone. So, as Gurudev said, bring luminosity, bring sweetness, bring the third one, I wrote it down, luminosity, sweetness, and ananda. So these three things, may we bring these things with us and carry these qualities with us wherever we go. And as we look into this next upcoming week, so the beauty of this week is we'll be welcoming all of the people coming to attend the Shiva Shakti study course. So the course begins on Friday. That's the day of arrival, so that's the 12th. And then we move into our weekend. Saturday is the intensive, so the all-day intensive from 10 to 4. And directly following that, Gurudev and group will be traveling to Queens, and we'll have the Sant Samagam at the Shiva Shakti Peeth on Long Island. That'll be in the evening, and then returning back here. And then on Sunday, we have our Sunday morning satsang. And then again, in the evening, the Sant Samagam down in Queens at the Hindu Center. So this kind of leads us into the whole upcoming, kind of the kickoff of all of the celebrations for the rest of this month. So, and then we continue the following week on the 15th with the course, keep moving through the course the next 10 days. And then we come into the weekend of the 19th, 20th, and 21st. That will be the celebrations of the 25th anniversary here. Everyone is welcome. And it's about all. So we'll all celebrate that, the 19, 20, 21. And then following that, we go directly into the goddess worship, which will be the 9 days of the Devi celebration, which will be here in the lobby. And that's from the 22nd of September to October 2nd. Following that, Gurudev takes travel, and everybody goes with him to Argentina. So the joy of Argentina and being with all of the Sangha there. And then on to Mexico, and then returns back here to Shanti Mandir Walden on November 6th. So everybody is invited to participate in any or all of the events and celebrations. And I think that is all for today. Everyone's invited to come up for darshan, followed by lunch prasad, and we'll see you all here in all the upcoming days. Sadhgurunad Maharaj Ki Jai.